What up? What up? What up? Ladies and gents, boys and girls, you are now tuned in to a brand new video of Sportsway with Dre Day podcast. I am your host with the most, the Hood's ESPN, Crystal Street's very own Dre Day. What's up? What's up? What's up? Once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support of the podcast. Keep it going. Keep it growing, keep it flowing. If you haven't already, again, it's right there on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to keep that on the screen so that way once you come on in, you could do it. So there it goes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Sportsway with Dre Day Podcast. Hit that button. Hit the subscribe button. It's free 99. It doesn't cost you anything. Also, hit that notification bell so that way once a video is uploaded, you will get a notification letting you know that I dropped a new video. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, tell a friend, all that good stuff. Ooh, baby, baby, baby. This video here, I think probably a week or two ago, I did a video announcing that the Verzuz was coming back and the battle that we all was waiting for was about to go down, and that was Cash Money versus No Limit. I basically gave my opinion on who do I think was going to win and, you know, certain songs I expected to play and this, that, and the third. Well, it went down. Okay. It went down this past weekend. I was in the crib just vibing to these songs, remembering where I was when these records were played. Because even though I'm from New York, Brooklyn, for that matter, doesn't matter. Grew up on Cash Money, grew up on No Limit. So I was very much looking forward to this battle. Even though I'm from up top and I'm not from the South or New Orleans, I was still looking forward to this battle. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room was there was going to be certain artists that was not going to be in attendance. You had some, unfortunately, passed away. So R.I.P. Magic, R.I.P. Soldier Slim. Obviously, C Murder is incarcerated. Mystical's incarcerated. The two wild cards. Well, it was only one wild card for me. It was already established that Turk was not going to be in attendance. Shout out to Beehive and what's his name? Well, I'm not gonna say his name. I know his name. Galaxy Wick. I'm trying to think. He got so many names. I'm trying to think of the name that I was gonna call him by. Galaxy Wick on their show, Beehive TV. Turk is, you know, sometimes comes on there as a podcast partner, as Beehive would say, and he already let it be known that he wasn't going to be on Verzuz. So we already knew he wasn't going to be there. The wild card was, would Lilwayne be in attendance? Now, me personally, when it was announced, I had the belief that he was going to be there. I had the confidence that he was going to be there. I wish I would have thought otherwise because unfortunately, Lil Wayne did not show up. And trust me, that definitely did not help Cash Money in this situation. First of all, they didn't do 20 rounds. Usually in the traditional verses, it's 20 rounds. One crew of artists get their 20 records, the other crew get their 20 records. They only did 12 rounds in this battle. And if you really want to be honest with me, and if you really want me to be honest with you, Cash Money did 12, No Limit did 11, all right? But I digress. Me watching the battle, I gave it No Limit 7-5. Now, I can't just sit here and just tell you 7-5. I have to give you the breakdown. So, listen, I had to sit here and basically, after the verses was over, I basically had to sit here and think of the songs. Like I had to rewatch it. So then that way I know exactly which song was played in which order. Cause me personally, I was just in awe. You know, I'm sitting there eating my Chinese food, sipping my douce, and just enjoying the verses. I had to go back and watch it again. So that way I can basically have the track list ready for y'all. So I broke it down by round. Okay. So it was 12 rounds. It wasn't your traditional 20 rounds because this was at Complex Con. And there were other scheduled shows after the versus battle. So they couldn't really go off the way they wanted to. And first off, they started late. Okay, so let's get that out the way. But nobody should be surprised about that because we are talking about black folk, and black folk are never on time for nothing. So hey, it is what it is. If you get upset over that, it is what it is, but it's just the truth. So obviously we knew they wasn't gonna start on time. But let's get to it, okay? Now, my the way I score rounds is different than everybody else's, okay? And one of these rounds, I'm going to give you an example on why I judge rounds differently, okay? So let's get to the first round, okay? I'm going to try to go through this quick because I'm already on here for 7 minutes. I'm not trying to make this a long episode, a long video. So I'm going to try to go through this quick. Juvenile, Cash Money opens up. You know, they was going back and forth about, oh, who was going to start first and yada, yada, yada. Manniefresh said, you know what? F it, we'll go first. Let's go. Let's get it. So Juvenile opens up with 400 Degrees off his classic album, 400 Degrees. Me personally, love that track. Love it. Okay. So I was all for it. Master P comes out with True. All right. So you got Master P, SilkkTheShocker, and miax doing No Limit Soldiers. Me personally, I love the record. But if I have to be objective, I gave the round to Juvie. I gave it to 400 Degrees. So there you have it. So Cash Money already up 1-0. Then we get to the second round. Big Timers still fly. Okay. I'm in the crib just vibing to it, right? Next, Master P comes up with Break 'em Off something. Now, this was probably the toughest round for me to call because I love both records. I love both records. I gave the edge to Cash Money. And the reason why I gave the edge to Cash Money because that hook is so addictive. Okay. You know it. So when you hear that hook, you're instantly in. Like you're like once you hear that hook, you're instantly, buying in. So I gave the edge to Cash Money on that one. I gave the edge to Big Thomas. So now Big Thomas is up. Well, Cash Money is up 2-0. Okay. Now let's get to round 3. Cash Money Millionaires, Project Bitch. Now, obviously, for this record, damn near everybody was on this record. Obviously, there were some people that weren't in attendance. All right. Turk wasn't there. I think he's on this song. Wayne wasn't there, obviously. So you only had BG, Juve, Manny, and Birdman. And I don't know what it was with BG because like I couldn't really hear him very well. Maybe I know what it was. It was the lip syncing. Like it was that it was that vocals in the background shit. And this is what they need to learn from Jay-Z. Like when Hove gets on that stage and he performs, you don't hear no vocals. Okay, you don't hear no vocals. Like so, this is how you know you rehearsed like crazy when you perform. Because if you don't hear your vocals, that means you really got to remember your lyrics. You can't depend on the vocals in the background to save your ass. So, I had to penalize them. I really had to penalize them for that. So, Young Breed, how you do that there? I gave that round right to No Limit, right then and there. So now it's 2-1 going into the it's 2-1 going into the fourth round. Oh no. I'm sorry. Miax, Freak Hoes. So I gave that round to Miax. And I'm gonna speak more about Miax at the end of this, okay? Next round, we go Juvenile, Rich Niggas. Okay. So you got Juvenile, Turk, and Lil Wayne on this record. Okay. And then you got Young Breed, How We Do That There. I instantly gave that round to Young Breed, How We Do That There. And the reason why I gave that round to them is plain and simple. You do a record that two of the artists is not even there for. And let's keep it a stack. If you really listen to some of these records, that particular record right there, that particular record, Lil Wayne and Turk had the best verse. I listen, yes, it's a Juve record, but Turk and Lil Wayne had the best verse on that track. So being that they wasn't there, I had to penalize Cash Money. So I gave it to No Limit. So there you have it. So now it's 2-2 going in to the fifth round. Now we got BG, Cash Money as an Army. This was the record that I was waiting on because me personally, I thought they was going to wait to the latter end of the verses to do this record. I was so waiting for this to play. And BG didn't disappoint me. He did not disappoint me. I enjoyed his performance when he played this. I wish he would have had his damn pants hanging up a little more, but that's neither here nor there. Then Master P and them. Bourbons and Lax. I dig the record. I listen, I dig the record, but the biased in me. Because again, I was pro Cash Money for this battle. I was rooting for Cash Money. So for this, I had to give it to BG because again, Cash Money as an Army, that record, I was waiting for B Jizzle to play that. So I was giving him that round. I don't care what they would have played to counter that. I probably would have picked Cash Money as an Army. So there you have it. So now after 5 rounds, I got Cash Money up 3-2. So now let's move to the 6th round. Juvenile plays Slow Motion. Obviously, this is the record with Soulja Slim. They do Soulja Slim part, okay? I think Juve and BG was basically performing Slim's part, and then Juve did his part. And then Mercedes, even though she was not in attendance, Mercedes was not in attendance. She did well, I can tell, but it wasn't, she didn't perform it. Mac performed it. Mac was on the record. He did his verse. Excuse me. Juvenile was getting that Slow Motion. I don't care if Mercedes was there. I don't care if Alexis was there. I don't care if Range Rover was there. I don't care if any of them was there. Juvenile was getting that round for me regardless. So now it's 4-2. So now through 6 rounds, I got Cash Money up 4-2. And now this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. Bling bling. We got bling bling. So, you know the record. You know the record. You got BG, you got Birdman, you got Juvenile, you got Turk, and you got Wheezy. And then you got SilkkTheShocker. It Ain't My Fault. Now, obviously, Mystical was not in the building for this. We know he's incarcerated, so he was not in attendance for this. The one thing I will say about this selection, the one thing I didn't like about this song selection was that Silk did the remix. Me personally, I felt he should have did the original, not the remix version. I felt he should have did the original version. Now, maybe he did the remix because he wanted the crowd to participate in the, oh, it ain't my fault. Did I do that? Because the crowd was engaging in that. So maybe that's why he did it. But me personally, I would have preferred him do the original version. Now, again, this is why I gave the round to Silk. Bling Bling. The two best verses was Lil Wayne and Turk, because there's two verses. There's two versions. There's a version with Turk, and then there's a TV version where it's Birdman, Lil Wayne, Manniefresh, Juvenile, and BG. But there's another version where it's Birdman, Turk, Manniefresh, Juve, and BG. So basically, there's a version with Wayne, and then there's a version with Turk. Both of those verses were the best verses on that record, respectfully. So, being that they were not in attendance for that record, I got to give the round to silkktheshocker. This is where your star players got to be in attendance for this, because if they don't, it penalizes you, and that's what happened with Cash Money and this verses. That's what happened when you have your two key players that didn't show up. It hurts you in the long end, and that's what happened with this battle with Cash Money. And I'm gonna get into that before I leave. But okay, so now we get to round 8. Juvenile set it off. Master P, Ice Cream Man. Ooh, this is where Cash Money, not Cash Money. This is where No Limit started to crank it up. This was the round right here that No Limit started cranking it up. Let's give that check right there to No Limit. Then Birdman comes out. I mean, he was already on stage, but for this one, he does his single number one stunner. And then, him and Master P, Master P basically, wanted to give Birdman his flowers and stuff like that. And was like, you did start that stunner stuff and stuff like that. So, Birdman, was getting it, going. And it was like, I started this, I started that stunner shit, yada, yada, yada. So Master P said, okay, yeah, you started this stunner shit, but I'm from uptown too. And I started this. Like, I don't even know what Master P said. And I'm quite sure there's a bunch of us that did not catch what Master P said. But then when you heard, let's go, bout it, that round goes to Master P. It goes to Master P. Now, it's two reasons I'm giving that round to Master P. First of all, Body is a better record than number one stunner. Let's just call it what it is. Another reason why I'm giving that round to Master P is because miax was also on that record and she killed it. miax snapped on that record. Okay. Like, I'm going to give miax her flowers at the end of this. So just get ready. All right. So yes, give that check to No Limit. Okay. 10th round, big timers do Get Your Roll On. Now they bring out the big guns. Make them say, Obviously, y'all know who got that round. I don't even need to tell y'all who got that round. Get Your Roll On, make them say, I'll let y'all pick who won that round, okay? Now we get to round 11. This was also the other round that I was a little, I was close to giving it a tie, but then, like I said, I had to think of key factors onto why I had to edge it to No Limit. Hot Boys, I Need a Hot Girl. Amazing record. Amazing record. Like, as soon as the beat drops, it's gonna be fire. Shout out to Manniefresh, man. He doesn't get his props as a producer. Back then he did, but right now people tend to forget how much of a amazing producer Manniefresh was. So I really want to say that. No Limit, chopper style. Now, me personally, when I first when I did my breakdown a few weeks ago, I completely forgot that Chopper was on No Limit. Not Chopper from Bad Boy. I'm talking about the light skin Chopper. I totally forgot that he was on No Limit. So when he came out for this, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, nah, this is a tie. I can't give nobody this round. But then I watched it again. And then I was like, yo, wait a minute. I got to give it to No Limit for the reason that I said in the other 2 rounds. I Need a Hot Girl is very well documented that if you ask anybody who had the best verse on I Need a Hot Girl, about a good 80%, 85, close to 90%, people are going to say Turk had the best verse. He wasn't in the building for this. See, this is where you needed this is where you needed your aces, okay? And Cash Money dropped the ball. Birdman dropped the ball for this, okay? And listen, listen, it's so much to break down after I'm done with this. Like, I'm trying to get through this as quick as I can. Okay, now we get to, again, that's the 11th round. I gave that round to No Limit. 12th round. This is where Cash Money lost me. You did Lil Wayne a milli. You do Lil Wayne a milli, but Lil Wayne is not in the building. And honestly, me watching it, nobody was really engaged with it either. Now the crowd was trying to, recite the lyrics, but nobody really on stage was really in tune or even engaged into the record. Now, again, you're playing a milli and Lil Wayne is not even there. And then on top of that, the records that they're playing, this is prime Cash Money. That record, a milli, was basically, this is a little before Young Money, so this is after 2000. We talking what? A milli came out when? What? 2006, 2007, if I'm not mistaken. Everything No Limit played was before 2000 or 2000. But anyway, you're losing that round automatically for me, okay? It didn't matter what No Limit played. Cash Money was not getting that round because Lil Wayne wasn't there. But then when they played Down for My Niggas. Now, me personally, I knew Snoop was going to come out. I knew he was going to be outside for this. It's in Vegas. I'm sure Snoop's in LA. That ain't that far of a commute, okay? I knew Snoop was going to be there for this. And he showed up. Little Romeo was on stage. He was reciting his uncle's lyrics. I know there's a couple of people out there that was dogging Romeo. Like, I was watching it on YouTube, and some people was in the chat, roasting Little Romeo. Why y'all roasting Little Romeo for? That's his uncle. So, of course, he's going to recite his uncle's lyrics. And there was a time Romeo was on No Limit. So it is what it is. So there you have it. Instantly, No Limit gets that round. And then we get to the final round. This was the record that I was waiting on. Juvenile, Back That Ass Up. That was basically the last record of the night because No Limit didn't play anything else. Because I forgot what round it was, but I think Manniefresh was saying that they only had about 5 to 10 minutes left, which didn't do right by the crowd. But yeah, they only had, it was it wasn't the traditional verses because usually the verses take much longer than that. But again, it was only 12 rounds. So again, tally it up. 12 rounds. I gave it 7-5, No Limit. Now, this is my takeaway from the verses, and then I'm out of here. Birdman, totally disappointed in you. At the end of the verses, when Master P was giving y'all props and giving y'all flowers. Just when I thought you was gonna give everybody that was in attendance their props, what do? You call Turk out. Turk ain't worried about y'all. He already knew he wasn't gonna be invited. Was he upset about it? Of course he was, because he's an intricate part of the Hot Boys, which he is. He already understood that he wasn't gonna be there. But for you to get up on that stage, which I'm sure you was drunk out your mind, you looked like you was falling asleep on stage, for you to take a shot at him, come on, totally unnecessary. And go back and watch, like miax was in the background, like her face just froze once Birdman did that, because he was talking about how he started Cash Money and how he met Juve and how he met BG and how he met Manniefresh, how he met Turk. And then as soon as he said Turk name, he just went left field with it, right? Like Master P was already going off the stage because something for him really felt that something that Birdman was gonna say something stupid, and right on time he did. So that's my first breakdown. My second take from this, both crews left records out. But again, when you think of the time limit that they had, I completely understand why these certain records didn't get played. Because I got a list of songs that they did not play that I was very much looking forward to hearing. Okay? There was plenty of songs that they left off. Plenty of songs that they left. Juvenile didn't even play, huh? He didn't even play, huh? And I was looking forward to that. So me personally, I'm only going to give one song for each crew. If I could substitute a song that Cash Money did, that Juvenile could have did Huh for, it would have been Rich Niggas. He could have did Huh instead of Rich Niggas. Because again, Turk and them wasn't there. So why do the record? Had you did Huh in this round against Young Breed, how we do that there, I might have gave the, well, ain't no might. I would have gave that round to Cash Money. So shit, this might have been a tie if you think about it. This might have been a tie. And then let's get to No Limit. There was one song I was hoping they would have did. Because me personally, I thought, and again, this was conversations that I had with people about the Verzuz battle. Because me, I'm like, okay, depending on who goes last, I'm like, if Cash Money goes last, they're doing Back That Ass Up to close the show. Then I'm like, if No Limit closes, they're going to do I Miss My Homies, to honor those that weren't there, right? They didn't even do that to end the Verzuz. Like, I don't know who their DJ was. I don't know if it was Beats by the Pound, one of the producers from Beats by the Pound. But again, after Back That Ass Up, No Limit was just dapping everybody up, and they just left the stage. But again, like I said, probably because of the time limit, that's why they didn't do it. I would have loved for them to play that record. Would I have given them that round? No. I still would have gave it to Juvenile, Back That Ass Up. But just for the nostalgia, I would have loved for that record to have been played. Okay? So that's another take. I got two more takes, and then I'm out of here. Master P is clearly the better leader than Birdman. Clearly, he's the better leader. It's very well documented that Master P had issues with some members of No Limit. But for one night, one particular night, they put all of that to the side. miax in particular. She was supposed to perform at the Essen Fest, I think sometime earlier this year, and it didn't pan out. And she was hurt by that. And her and Master P had a falling out. Whatever it was, for one night, they was able to put all of that to the side and do this Verzuz for the fans. And look what came out of it. Birdman, on the other hand, listen, Lil has made it clear on plenty of occasions. He's not doing no he's not doing no Cash Money reunions unless Turk is there. So the Cash Money tour that the Cash Money tour that they was doing just recently or whatever, Turk wasn't there. So being that Turk wasn't there, Lil Wayne wasn't there. Turk didn't do this verses. Lil Wayne wasn't going to be there. So I definitely want to salute Lil Wayne for being loyal. I definitely want to salute him for being loyal to that aspect. But us as fans, we definitely would have loved to see Lil Wayne there. I think this would have been a whole lot different had Lil Wayne been there. But then again, like I said, Lil Wayne is not that great of a performer anymore. Those days is long gone, long gone. So who knows? Maybe it was a good thing he didn't come. Pause. Maybe it was a good thing he didn't show up because we might have been disappointed with his performance. And last but not least, before I go, the MVP was the biggest Mamma Mia, miax. miax was the MVP of this versus. Her and Juvenile. But miax was on the winning side, so she gets the MVP. Okay? miax is the MVP of this versus. She held it down. She was on the stage with a bunch of men and killed every song she was on. Kelly Price was up there being her hype woman, recording her as she performed. Now, me personally, I didn't even know that was her. My lady was like that, that's Kelly Price up there. I'm like, who? She's like, Kelly Price is there. I'm like, nah, that ain't her. So she goes on her IG page, type in Kelly Price's name. She sees that she's live, press the live, and then you see her recording miax as she's performing. I forgot exactly which song it was, but yeah, Kelly Price was up there being very supportive of miax. And Tamar Braxton was on the other side supporting her brother-in-law, Birdman, which a lot of people wasn't feeling. They're like, yo, why Tony wasn't there, but you there? But hey, that ain't none of my business. But yes, miax was the MVP of this versus. To think a few years ago, she had the big C. I'm not going to say it because I don't like it and I despise it. She survived it, and now at 54, 55 years old, she looks amazing. Go look at her outfit. Go look at her hair. She looked amazing on that stage. Just amazing. So shout out to the biggest Mamma miax. You were the MVP of this versus by far. Juvenile, you was the MVP for Cash Money because you definitely held it down for them, which I wasn't surprised with. But listen, overall, I enjoyed the verses. Obviously, there was some joints that didn't play, but I'm okay with that. You know, you have two juggernaut crews in Cash Money and No Limit to be on that stage with the history that they have, and for them to be on that stage for one night to celebrate, it was definitely a good look for the culture. It was definitely a good look for the culture. But listen, I'm not gonna sit here and be on some bullshit. I was rooting for Cash Money. I'm not gonna hold you. I was rooting for Cash Money, but I can admit No Limit got the dub. I can admit that. No Limit got the dub. So congratulations to No Limit. Congratulations to Cash Money on the success that y'all have had throughout the years. And I'm glad that they was able to do this for the culture. It was definitely a good look. But it's a wrap for this video. Again, I wasn't trying to be on here for that long, but hey, it is what it is. But once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support. Keep it going, keep it growing, keep it flowing. Once again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell. So that way, once a video is uploaded, you will get a notification letting you know that your boy has dropped a new video. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment. Again, thank y'all for y'all support. In closing, y'all know how this goes. This has been another video of Sportsway with Dre Day Podcast. Catch you on the flip side. God bless. Peace and love. Your boy is out of here. Peace.